talk through it with the staff.
Brian Callahan's press conference.
There was some positives
Day after the
that I'd like
Broncos lost.
to point out to start here. One of them would be, we had 4 rookie starters in that game, which was good. Those guys did a good job. I was excited to see them perform and it not be too big for them. I was really pleased with a lot of the things that Cam did in the game, which is really important. He operated well. He managed the game
Somehow.
There's definitely some things he's going to learn from that I think are going to be really critical for his jump from week 1 to week 2. But the operation and handling the environment and his poise was really impressive. So that part was encouraging. I'm excited about that. Had a couple of offensive miscues that I think could have resulted in some potential big plays for us that we didn't connect on.
Okay.
We got to clean those things up. I think we had some opportunities to be smarter with the ball when it came to the sacks and things of that nature in the fringe areas. I got to do a better job there. We'll get that fixed. I had 4 takeaways on defense, 3 on defense and 1 on special teams, which led the NFL this week. So that emphasis was good to see.
We
to
really
come out of that with some production on the ball, which was great. Got to do a better job complementing those things offensively and finding ways to get 7 points out of those instead of 3. And then one of them we didn't get any out of. So we got to find a better rhythm offensively to complement those particular ones. Situationally, we have to be better. I have to be better. There was definitely things that we got to improve on there. Some of the third downs we spent most of the day in 3rd and 7+, 3rd and 10+. Against that defense, and that was one of the key parts to our ability to win was to stay on track in those moments, and we didn't do a good enough job of that offensively overall. Tough environment on the road against a good football team. I thought our guys battled. I think we played with great effort, but you win by doing the small things, and I think ultimately we didn't do enough of those things.
Got to play better, got to coach
over the
better.
course of the game, particularly when it came to the penalties. Those were a couple of them inexcusable. We can't have them if we want to win football games in this league.
But we keep having them.
And it
so.
wasn't that part we got to get cleaned up for sure, and we'll be better there.
Well, we've been waiting to clean it up for a year.
I know you guys are all here for the conversation about the play with Ellick and challenging the play and what I said after the game. And look, ultimately, my interpretation of the rule was wrong. I'll own it. We should have challenged the play, and that's pretty much all I can say about it is I'll own the mistake. Should have challenged it, and that's where it stands. So other than that, you guys can go ahead.
With that being said, obviously there are other people who may have been able to tell you, hey, go ahead and challenge that. What happened there?
A whole team of people.
That process and how those things get relayed, I'll keep those in-house. But I'm the head coach of the football team, and my job is to make those decisions. And I didn't do a good enough job in that moment. I should have challenged it, and
the hot seat
probably would have resulted in a potential explosive play. So should have challenged the play.
But your interpretation of it being incorrect, the interpretation of Rob in your ear is also incorrect. He's there to correct you or counsel you, and he's also not getting it right.
Good point, Paul.
Correct?
Good point, Paul.
Again, I should have challenged the play, and the communication and how those things happened are all part of the process that we got to do a better job of overall. But I'm in charge of that, and I didn't do a good enough job there. So, again,
your interpretation of the rule.
You talk to players about that and what you want them to take from that.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think what they should take from is the same thing I asked from them too, is to take accountability for a mistake or for a play that they didn't make or needed to make or didn't do right, and make it right. And I think that's my job as a head coach, and I'll make it right.
You touched on Cam. What were some of the things that you liked about him most and some of the things he's got to do better at moving forward?
Yeah, the things that I liked about him most was just the poise in the environment as a rookie in his first start against that defense. And he was under some duress, and I thought he did a good job protecting the football.
Under a good bit of
he
it.
managed the protections.
Sacked
he managed some difficult third downs. Would have liked to see us help him a little more around him. We dropped, I think, 4 or 5 passes. That would have helped us a lot. Would have made the day feel a little bit different, I think, had we connected on a few of those. His ability to manage the protection game was really impressive for a young player.
What protection?
That was really encouraging. And then he never got rattled at any point, even though it wasn't certainly our best performance offensively. His ability to continue to battle and stand in there was impressive. And I think we're going to be a lot better for it. There's a lot of things situationally for him,
hope,
those fringe areas.
You better hope.
Him and I, both from the play caller and the quarterback, got to do a better job of making sure we put ourselves in a better position.
Mainly play caller. Let's
and
be
not
honest.
get knocked out of those. We did twice. I think get knocked out of some range there that we got to do a better
job. Don't try and
so,
bunch you two together.
It was a good learning experience for me with Cam and a real thing. Calm plays for him in a live environment. But all the things that came out of it, I'm really encouraged by and excited about.
Coach in the NFL
play's been around for a long time. And,
somebody ask a question.
Yeah, on the Iron interplay, I mean, that rule has been in effect for a long time. I guess in retrospect, are you surprised yourself that you didn't know the correct interpretation of that rule?
Yeah, I think I got a little more clarity on it now at this point.
Bro, I mean,
at the end of the day, those things happen really fast. And you're starting to get ready for the next play call, and you're waiting on information from what the look looks like. And look, I misspoke on it after the game.
Misspoke? No, you didn't misspeak. You said
I'm aware
what
of the rules. I understand the rules.
You said what you meant.
Again, a mistake that I made that I gotta correct, just like I'd ask our players to.
So you say that you misspoke yesterday, but at that time you knew that one elbow equaled 2 feet.
Say that one more time.
So yesterday, when you misspoke on the rule, you did know at that point that one elbow equals 2 feet.
Yes.
At that moment?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I think at the end of the game, I was worried about a lot of the things that went wrong in the game.
That's no. That's a no.
The heat of the moment, the frustration of it after the game. All this that he's doing right now
I think is his way of saying, no, I did not know the rule.
I misspoke. I'm
this
well
is
aware
the
of
moment you've all been waiting for from me.
and
Vrabel
the way
would
that I
never.
articulated afterwards
That's one thing Vrabel would never have done, is not know the rules.
I understand the rules of this game pretty well.
Brian, the sequence right before half, you've got a rookie quarterback on the road in the opener. Hindsight, maybe smarter to just take and try and get out of there and take that lead into the halftime and not let the Denver have a chance at the ball again?
Sure. There's every game has plays as a play caller that you want back. There's always situations that you think about. You could have called this instead of this, or that play instead of the other one. And
Brian, we could all tell in real time
that's
that what
every
you were
play caller,
doing
I think,
was
around the
insane.
league. And
Doesn't take hindsight to tell you
so
that.
there was a moment there that on 1st and 10, took an aggressive throw, tried to get one down the field to Alec running across the field. We gave up a pressure. And then I tried to throw essentially a screen that would keep the clock running and have the ball in bounds, and we didn't execute that very
Just
well.
hand it
And then,
off!
The third down certainly.
If you want to
could've
get the
run
clock
ball on
running and keep it in
third
bounds,
down
just
was hoping to
hand
keep the
it
clock running on
off!
a second down play, and then again in the third down play could have had a better selection.
Am I going crazy?
On that screen, it kind of looked like 3 guys weren't they're blocking, or what were those guys doing over there? Who was supposed to be facing the quarterback?
One of them was supposed to be facing the quarterback, and 2 were supposed to be blocking.
Yeah, we know
Was there
that.
confusion
Who?
there on knowing who
There
was
was.
doing what?
Yeah.
Brian, you said yesterday that
Why?
part of that sequence was you wanted to be aggressive.
Yep.
And that moment was the aggression because you thought you could score from the 7-yard line in a minute, or was it because you thought you really needed to get
Passive
a
aggressive.
first down with one play, otherwise they'd get the ball?
That was the intent, was that I knew they were going to be in man coverage. We called a play that was designed to go beat man coverage. We had Alec across the field, and I was trying to see if I could took one shot at a place that I knew I felt pretty good about what we were going to get, and I liked the play call in the moment. And we had a shot to hit it, and it would have been a pretty good explosive game that maybe would have gave us one more chance to see if we could get into field goal range, with 1 or 2 more plays, and with timeouts in our pocket as well. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't work. So, yeah, certainly in hindsight, you get criticized for it, and that's fair. So, yeah, that's all I can really add to that.
Talk about the 2 sacks after the muffed punt yesterday. You said you needed to see him.
Yeah.
Did Cam have places to go that were safe on those 2 plays?
Yeah, there was. Those we got beat pretty quick. It's also, I'm not going to put that all on Cam. I think the pressure was happening fast, and the ball on both those plays could have definitely had quicker answers.
You should have had
certainly.
somebody helping Ollie Udo at right
one
tackle.
would have been tough. The outlet there,
Since
in
he's
that
a
particular throw
backup.
would have been to Tony, and Tony got stuck trying to get out. That ball's got to go to the back, and then the third down play. It's hard to say that that's on Cam. That pressure came pretty quickly. We were in a spot where, generally speaking, was expecting some potential heavy pressure on that fringe area. To see
So
if
why
they
not
could
have
try
a
to knock
quick
us out and or have us force the
drag
ball out quick,
route
so we called
or
it max protection. They didn't bring
A
the
quick
pressure
out just to get a few yards?
and we didn't get the execution, the protection, in that moment as good as we would have liked. So those things, again, when they don't work and those things happen, it's the criticisms are all fair. and ultimately I got to do a better job at helping put Cam in a better spot.
Two things you guys worked on last year or I guess you worked on this season to improve from last year were the penalties and then getting the play calls in quickly. When you struggle with both of those in the first week after spending all off season focused on them, do you change anything about your approach to trying to make them better next week?
I think the penalty part, that part was frustrating, certainly, to have that amount and some of the types of penalties. Those are things that I was hopeful that we had grown past. That the emphasis on it would show up for us. There was no indication that obviously that would happen the way it did. But they were big, they were critical penalties. I mean, there was some major third down penalties. The holdings are subjective. They get called every game. You're gonna have some here and there. Some crews call more than others. But
called a
lot
on
I was disappointed
Jarvis.
by that, and the amount of work that we put into it to have that show up in that opening game was definitely disappointing. And we just got to keep going through the process. I mean, there's no shortcut to eliminating those things. You show them, you're accountable to them, and you make your coaching points and you keep moving. It's just like any play, any technique, anything that you're trying to emphasize. You keep at it. And as far as what was the second part again? The play calls in. Again, I think our biggest issue in the play calls was the tempo back into the huddle. I think we were getting back a little bit later. We weren't good enough tempo-wise in that regard. We'll emphasize that. That'll be better. Loud, trying to get in and out of the huddle. Didn't give Cam enough time a few times to operate. And I think that's me as a play caller. That's our tempo in the huddle, into the huddle, and out of it as well. So definitely something we got to get fixed for the next road game.
Let's take a couple more, guys. Can you
Get it fixed for the next home game.
With L'Jarius, and what is that the benefit of saving him at this point in the year when the game's capped now?
It's not really about saving him per se. It's about the loading coming off an injury and very limited practice time. And when you've practiced for a really short amount of time, we track all the GPS volumes and all the work that he's gotten in, and he had worked up to a particular volume that we felt comfortable where you're not pushing past that strain. And there was a cap put on that. And look, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating thing for guys when they get ready to go play in a game. That's not easy for them to do. That's not something that is usually very smooth at the end of the day. Because once they get in that mode to go play, they want to play. But organizationally, from a health standpoint, over the course of time, over the course of 17 games, you put yourself at risk when you just go in there to a game and you play 65 plays. The risk of injury, especially soft tissue, goes way up. And that was part of the thought process in that was that,
why even play him if he's only
build
going
the
to
load
play
back up
two
because he hadn't had a lot of
possessions?
practice time in between. So would have loved to see him play more, certainly. And I think he's going to keep building into that ability to play for an entire game.
Seems like he doesn't want to be here.
with the limited work he's had up until this point.
Will he be able to do that as early as next week, do you think, or will it take maybe another week?
We're going to see. We're going to see how practice goes. We'll increase his load in practice again this week. He'll go more. He'll practice with more reps and more volume, and we'll see what that looks like by the end of the week, and we'll make a determination for the game. And that's a collective determination is made between all of us. Training room, Mike, myself, and we try to do what's best for the player for the long term.
It'll be the same thing Sunday.
The guys early, at least, didn't seem to know where they needed to be alignment-wise.
Always.
Cam was looking behind him, pointing guys around. Am I mistaken?
Why is he
on
having
that?
to do
And
that?
what's that
We might
assignment?
have had one. We might have had one or two, but I think if you're talking about like moving the running backs and stuff, we move our backs for protection purposes quite a bit, especially when they get into some of those.
Why didn't
six-man fronts
anybody
where they got two
move
backers mugged
the
in there,
back
like,
to
we'll move the
Ali
backs
Udo to
around,
help him
and
on
we'll
that
check protections
sack.
and things like that. So a lot of that was probably that.
These were some receivers, I felt like, no?
Some of it was it different than motion. There wasn't really a lot of those. From my point of view, frankly, maybe like I said, one or two.
He's trying to get smart with Paul.
If you point them out to me, I can tell you if they're accurate or not.
Given,
two, guys.
given Joey's day yesterday, his big leg bang went through easily from 68 in pregame. Those two drives in the fourth quarter, how much thought did you put into sending him out there on one or both of those, considering one would have given you the lead and the other one would have made it a 5-point game, which also would have been helpful?
Yeah, those were conversations. I think the biggest issue was the when we got knocked way back. That would have. I think that last one would have been pretty significant. Those are conversations we have. We felt a little bit better about going the other direction. As far as the pure distance.
I mean,
and then again, we were a little bit concerned.
The main
too,
takeaway from this
is, they got one of
is
the best returners in
what he
football
said
out
about
there.
not knowing the rule. I mean,
if you are short, those are just the risk reward.
He said he needed
clarification
on the
certainly
rule.
was part of the conversation.
Coming out of the game that you'll have to monitor.
What?
This week?
We'll have a few that we got to get through today and tomorrow. And I'll give an update Wednesday.
Excuse me.
The only one
right into the mic. I'm sorry.
We're going to probably really monitor is just to see where JC's at by Wednesday, and see how that he's kind of been battling the same thing for a little bit now. So
he won't play Sunday. We'll have all of you go
further clarity on it.
With Cam and the ability to check in and out of plays, he said that he has that freedom. He didn't have to because for the most part you guys had him in the right situations. Mm-hmm. Where is he as far as that freedom? Like, is that something that you're going to continue to ramp up, or is he kind of where he is?
Yeah, no, he's got freedom. He checked one or two things yesterday. When you give the quarterback that freedom, there's an understanding too that when you check plays at quarterback, it's not necessarily always trying to check for the big one. The check is generally to try to keep you out of bad plays. And that's something that he's learning. He's got
lots of checks.
Mentality of like, I want to go try to score.
Cam, just do it next time,
so
buddy.
That's a work in progress
check.
as far as when and where and what to check and why. But we're building that, and I think that's one of Cam's superpowers. That's one of the weapons that's going to make him a really good player in this league is his ability to operate at the line of scrimmage and manipulate the offense the way he sees fit. And those are things that we're just kind of continually working on, and he's got the freedom to do it, though, and he did it a couple of times yesterday. And the most impressive one was really the end of the last play of the game. Not a significant play in the grand scheme of things, but significant in what you want to see from the quarterback is he recognized a max pressure blitz that, again, 4th down and last play of the game, and checked to a max protection. It's wired up. We didn't get we didn't have the protection executed the right way, but he
that was max protect
it without having to use his back pocket as a pure protection check on his own, and that was just really, really encouraging to see. Even though
for
it was
him,
the
maybe,
last
but
snap of the game,
if that was max protect and we had 4 guys just running right through,
it was really cool.
Yikes!
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, there'll be a lot of headlines coming out of that regarding what he said about not knowing the rule. I mean, he had no choice but to admit to it. He had no choice but to admit that he got it wrong, because he got it wrong. But man, you could tell by his demeanor and his body language, he knows he has not done himself any favors in this first game in terms of them sticking with him long term. He has not done himself any favors, and having to admit week 1 that you didn't challenge something because you didn't understand the rule, or not good. Tighten up.